What I will be showing you is a brief presentation about Jaqpot and its capabilities. Jaqpot is in-house software that has been developed for many years. Let me try to share my camera as well, if that works as well. Right now you can see me, but not my presentation, or do we have both?
We have both. You just, well, you clicked to, yeah, no, we had your presentation a second ago.
Yeah, only if I don't make it full screen. Okay, so
yep.
You see me now.
Perfect.
Yeah. Okay, so this is Jaqpot is software that has been developed at the Unit of Process Control and Informatics at the National Technical University of Athens in Greece for many years. Now we're in version 5, and currently, the way we see it, it's a place to create, discuss, share, and use your models and data sets. So that will allow you, we provide you the possibility to do that, because what we see is that there is many models being produced, but it is actually difficult to check them and see how they perform. It doesn't make much sense to spend 2 hours of your life to transfer that model and trying to find what is or isn't there. And it would be much easier for the life of every researcher if each time you saw a model being suggested in bibliography, you could just find a link, and that link would take you to a place where you would be able to test it and see its performance, and also use it on your own data, and also do that on an open platform that would allow you to do this on your own. Jaqpot is a suite of tools that allows you to do QSAR, quantitative structure activity relationships, to perform PBPK modeling, analyze images from microscopy. Right now we have accommodated functions for spherical nanoparticles and nanotubes, and also you can do read across using ToxFlow. The way you would do that is you would get data from the NanoCommons knowledge base, draw from there, which would in itself draw from multiple sources and give you the data that you would like to have. So the infrastructure, actually, this is built and inspired by Pantelis Karajas from our team, who does a lot of work in building and maintaining systems, so they are in sync with the developments in systems as they are used by even the top companies in the world, Google, Amazon, they use the same architectures. So Docker is used in Jaqpot to run software packages called containers. They allow you to isolate parts of the system and bundle that, so it's easy to deploy and even scale up or down what you want to do. You need something to manage that, which is Kubernetes to automate the deployment, scaling, and management of the containers. OpenShift is an open source container application platform maintained by Red Hat Inc. And also for cases of, in order to have authentication authorization, we use these functions as well. In the previous version of Jaqpot, Jaqpot 4, which was developed within eNanoMapper, it was a tool that allowed you to do QSAR modeling with many functions on the browser, which means that you would start from data and build the model on your browser, whether that was on your screen, on your PC, or even a tablet, and you would use the system to build the model and then make it available. So you, as we see, there were capabilities to build the model, for capabilities for experimental design, for interlaboratory comparisons, or read across. The user will have his or her own space for models, algorithms, and data sets, and many models were available, many algorithms were available from Java, from written in Java, others written in Python, and also others written in R. What is interesting is that the algorithms were ontologically annotated, which means they would allow you to get metadata for the algorithm to see what has happened, what kind of algorithm that was used to produce the data. So you would, the system was ready for semantic web applications, and that would allow to have a more complete justification of the result. Because, you know, even with experimental results, it's not enough just to provide someone a number, to say 7.2. You need to say exactly what was measured, what protocol was followed. You need to provide what the instrument was used to measure it. For example, you would get different results with a different generation of zeta sizer nano. That needs to be taken into account. The same thing goes for computational work. You would need to be able to show and justify what has happened and how. And a first step to that in that direction is providing the ontological annotation for the algorithms that you have used. In Jaqpot 4, when someone trained the model, it was possible to specify the parameters, which variables would be used, which endpoint would be selected as output, and that was the model web page which users could distribute to their community. Accompanied with a report. When you performed validation, you got a report that provided you valuable information like the R-squared values. You got the real and predicted values, and the real versus predicted measurements graph. Sorry. Actually, you also got the predicted values of the dataset and the QPRF report, the QSAR prediction reported format. So it allowed you to contain all the fields required by OECD guidelines. The QPRF reports they refer to the predictions made. And also, to another issue, another area that was covered was the read-across method. Currently, this is available at NanoMapper.com more as a C4 to Jaqpot 5, whereas you will see we have a different vision of what we want to offer. Jaqpot 5, available now at app.jaqpot.org, follows a different rationale. It's not the place to do the modeling from the start, from the beginning. It is a place where you would go to distribute your models after you have built them, after you have made all these time-consuming tests and trial and error efforts in order to find what is most appropriate. And after you have found a model that you yourself trust, then you expose it and make it available as a model for the community to judge, which is actually the only way to know which models work well or not. So you need to log in with your username and email, or you can use you can skip that and use your Google accounts or a Google account or your GitHub account. Jaqpot 5 offers you a personal space where you have access to your own data sets, your own models, and also in this shared space, what you get is you get shared subspaces, because there is the concept of organizations we're going to talk about. Right now, we're seeing what models have been shared with this user with NanoCommons. And there's a number of other organizations, as we see on the drop-down menu, that could be selected. But right now, these are available within the NanoCommons project, which would mean that it is a place to share models if you want to with the world, but if you want to stay in a development phase, while you're in a development phase, or you want to keep things confidential, you can keep things in a smaller circle of co-workers. So the page of the model looks like this, and you have a small icon that you can add in every model. It's its description, and on the first tab, which is the overview tab, you can and you should provide a title for the model, what is being done here, and provide the links to the data that was used, and also the QMRF report, which you should fill in order to make things more transparent as to what has been calculated and how. There is a template that can be utilized for that purpose. We will be going through that later. And an interesting feature is if you take a look at this bottom right corner where we have the pen here, if you click on it, you have these buttons that appear. These buttons allow you to, first of all, share a model where you would be able to I think, yeah, maybe I'll turn off the webcam and just go full screen so you get more things, so you can see more. I hope that works better for you. Where you would you can say who can do what. You can either just show your model and give people read access, so they can see what they can visit the web page of a model. You could give them write access to modify it, or you could give them people that you would like to share your research with. You could give them execute access so they can try out the model without being able to make any modifications on it. So on the data tab, which is the second tab that we have here, we are shown which are the dependent features and the predicted features. Or predicted features, sorry, that's the same, and the independent features. So this is the one log S of the exposure is what we are predicting, and the independent features are here. And these are various descriptors that we will be talking about, and this is actually the example that we will be visiting later on. And you can, in the predict or validate that tab, you choose between two functions. You can either predict using the model, or you can validate. That would involve you either as a first quicker solution, provide typing in with your keyboard input values for the independent features. As you see in this example, there are five variables. You can just enter that and press start to start a prediction. Otherwise, for more input values, it would be more relevant to provide to use the alternative route which we will show. This is providing your data via a template, and if you see here on the download template dataset, what you're actually being provided is the what you're being provided with is a link to download the template dataset in CSV, in the comma-separated format, which you can, it's an easy format that you can download and edit on any spreadsheet app, where we have provided you with the columns where you need to provide in each row the set of values for the input variables needed for the model. If you provide more than one lines, of course, that will result to more than one predictions. And after you have modified that, you save it on your PC and then click the pink, something like pink, arrow going up, so you can upload it to Jaqpot, and you get a notification of the operations being performed, and hopefully you have done things right, and you get the two tick marks here, and you can view your prediction, which would look something like that. So you can easily try out a model and do it either by typing in the data, or for larger volume data sets, just give it in that form. And you can take that and download the data in a report, so you have your predictions, which you would be able to reuse somewhere else, of course. What is interesting here is that in the last page, the last tab of a models page, we have what we call, it's sort of a social network for models, because one thing, and I see it as a big capability is being able to easily have access to someone's model. One thing is being able to have access to it, and another necessary thing is to be able to talk with other researchers and give feedback on that model. That can be done here with this discussion tab, where with your name, of course, because things need to be, if you're going to give judgment on someone's scientific work, you need to do that with your name and be transparent about it. So you would give hopefully a more helpful comment than this one that I have shown, that I'm showing here as a first demo. And you would save it and start a discussion about how it performed on the data that you have given it, that you have tested it on. Another interesting concept in Jaqpot 5 is the concept of organizations, which it shows you, if you click on the top right side, there's the icon here, and Padelis from our team informs you on the chat that Jaqpot is available for you now to take a look at app.jaqpot.org. And if you go to that icon of the person here in the circle, you can see, after you have logged in, your personal space and your organizations where you work. You can provide information about yourself and what's your where people can find you and connect with you. The NanoCommons organization, as an example, is a place where we can use within our project to communicate models. You see someone has the admin rights and can determine who gets inside. So who gets, you need to be given an invitation. This invitation has been given to you, to the participants today, by Padelis, and we won't be giving you access to the NanoCommons organization, but to the NanoCommons webinar organization. So if you can please send a private message to Padelis Karajas, which you see, who you see on the chat, he can give you access to the NanoCommons organization. Part of the instructions that you were sent last Monday were to access the Jaqpot webpage and log in there and make sure you have a username. After you have done that, just visit the tab here, and you will see here what your new username is, or your emails. And an interesting feature also is that you're able to get notifications of what has been shared with you. For example, a little while ago, I got a notification from Padelis. Let me show you this. About, no. The notifications I got. If we click on this button here on the bells, yes, I need to log in. What happened here actually is very useful. I had logged in and now I couldn't access my account. That happens periodically because for safety precautions, your login doesn't last forever. It lasts for about 2-3 hours. So you could be working and at some point not be able to access your account. That means you need to go to the start page and log back in so you can see, get access to everything back again. So these are the invitations that I have got while I was a user. This is my invitation to join the NanoCommons webinar. I have accepted this invitation. Please make sure you do so as well. That would, otherwise you run the risk of upsetting at least a little, but you also won't be having much of the joy of participating. So we were here. That's what a notification could look like. It's a model that has been shared with you by a co-worker. You see the organization where it, within which it was shared. And a dataset page would look something like that. If you wanted to provide a dataset and show people what is there, you could do the some annotations, and also there's the discussion tab, but that is mostly just for limited cases where you'd like to, the message would be the data set and not the model. Training a model in Python would actually, if you have defined all your data sets, looks something like this. You call a function and you run the predictions. If you have a model on your computer, what is needed to go to, we have taken a lot of effort so that what is needed to go from the local model in Python to a web service is actually one line of code. And in one line of code, you go from a local model to a web service that is accessible. We will take a look at that. I just wanted to provide you to give you a little taste of what we will be looking at. There will be more details, and also we can get predictions from the model. I would need to know that Jaqpot has been included in the EOS catalog through OpenRiskNet, and right now, because OpenRiskNet was a project, an infrastructure project where our group and Jaqpot was participating, and we are very happy to be part of the EOS effort and actually continuing EOS work there. For read-across predictions, I have to stress that there is a ToxFlow, which allows you to perform enrichment analysis of omics data and also train a read-across model. So, to conclude, Jaqpot is an open source web infrastructure that is characterized by its flexibility. Its flexibility to generalize across disciplines, because after a certain time point, if you have a certain point in your procedure, after you have formed your data and given it the right structure, the right means that it's clean, it's usable, there are no gaps, so to speak, it's well structured, then you can use data from any source. It can integrate to third-party tools, so you can do modeling on the cloud. It provides QE's integration to diverse architectures or ontologies or knowledge domains. And it offers you a seamless way, an easy way to take models out of the desktop or paper, to take them away from the bench and automatically make them available as web services through the URI, characterized by a URI. And it gives you functionality both over to use it, let's speak in more clear, less technical jargon, through an API, which means machine accessible by other services, higher level services, or graphical user interfaces, as we saw, which is something that you would be able to communicate to others. That was all. There was a lot of ground to cover. I tried to show you all the functionalities. Some aspects I just were shown more as a teaser, and we will be going into more depth during the day, the rest of the workshop.